We in the building. We in the building, man. Y'all see the title. I ain't even want to, push too much into this. Just, just have a little talk a little bit. And the crazy part is, man, I've been watching a lot of crazy videos these past couple of weeks, these past couple of days, whether, and out of Manosphere, back and forth, a lot of dudes. Been listening to a lot of channels about this stuff, you know, and just like the dudes say, don't get it twisted. If you're not in the manosphere, I mean, you just not in the manosphere. But if you in this space, then your bones are gonna be, the point of watching the space, see how it grows, this and that. We building over here. What's going on, man? Hey, man, I just dropped a good hashtag. I'm gonna start. It might even be a channel that I got here here for the grind. Man, I came up with that. Being underrated, we having a challenge, man, as far as our health. You know, hashtag here for the grind. I was looking up different hashtags that had dad bod, all that crap. Just something funny, be joking around. But you know, here for the grind is gonna be based on us working out. I did my little first picture of me making my fruit salad today, and it was crazy. I ended up getting a burger, and then one of my little stops I go to, and it's crazy. Like I be getting free stuff. Like they gave me a whole meal, told me go in the cafeteria, pick out whatever I want. All I got was vegetables, and then I got some spicy uh what is it? Some spicy chile wings. Hey, conscious in the building. Let me start highlighting y'all. But that started off the little kickoff for this today, and I ain't even put my stepper on there, my walker counter. So I might end up putting that on today when I get back to the warehouse. Then I'm just have to make up for all those steps. But anywho, man, just listening to a lot of this talk about the manosphere, and I'm like, man, I already know I'm gonna get a lot of views on this because like I said, I don't like doing the gender topic, but this manosphere stuff is kind of funny because, you know, I always tell people, even though I'm married, I'm gonna get a lot of breakups. I'm going in these areas, backwoods of Athens, going to Buford, but it is what it is. If you can hear me, you hear me. If you're not, we're gonna work through it. But say the least, I came over in the space, because hey, when you hear Black Manosphere, it's like a spirit that's headed by men, black, nevertheless. But I'm thinking that this is a space where a lot of guys are building, you know, like this whole thing we talking about, working on your health, working on your diet, you know. Shout out to Alonzo. Alonzo gave us a story the other day on Underrated's channel. Underrated had a situation where he was in a hospital because he um he fooled around, wasn't getting enough rest. Alonzo talking about his pressure. Then me in general, I just already flat out said, man, I'm big. I know I'm big. I need to lose this weight, you know. And I don't want to get to the point where my knees hurting, because I'm carrying all this weight. My back already been messed up. I threw my back out when I was young, um, lifting furniture, and I messed it up probably about two more times. And I was like, man, I'm not gonna be no good for my kids. So once my kids were born, I was like, I'm out the moving business. It's something I do part time. I don't do it as a full time job. But nevertheless, though, man, that's what I thought the space was built on. A lot of men working with each other, helping each other. Came in, and it's always funny. Most guys I talk to, they always say they came in space through women or they came into a space listening to certain people in the space that talk about bad situations. You know, um, thing I'm having a brain freeze. A dude named it's not spiritual hope. It's the other guy. Man, he always kicking it with BJ's. Okay, but he was at IT in the military and stuff. But basically, come back to me. With him, he got a divorce from his wife. So he came into space that way, you know, getting a divorce, felt as if he was a good brother, and how could this happen to him? And guys basically let him know, hey, some women, don't make good wives. I mean, it's the truth, So you go through that mindset of like you doing everything right, but then good don't come your way. I mean, let's face it. Some guys they talk that talk, but they ain't really about that. Now this brother right here, he's in shape. He works out, keep himself up, you know. And I can't. Well, I don't know. This what he say. No, dude came on camera. He's like, look at my physique, man. I work out. I'm a good brother. You know, keep myself together. So, my attitude is on point. You don't never see me get out of pocket on the panels and stuff. So he's basically laying down this whole thing like I'm a decent guy, but I had to go through this divorce situation. And it wasn't his point of not getting women or didn't like women why he came into space. He wanted to get a little more clarity into his situation. You know, you got guys coming through with child support, and I understand. If you got one kid and you saying child support bad, the women are bad, I mean, honestly, you made a mistake, or trying to then go through the whole. You could say vetting, you could say understand, whatever it takes. Hey, people I always call them oops babies. You will sit there and literally have a oops baby due to the fact that hey, pump and dump. We hear about that in the space. Pump and dump. That's how you end up having an oops baby. But say the least, man, it's like situations do happen. People get caught up. So you having an understanding so you won't get caught up next time. Now, when you have 3 and 4 baby mamas, or you have 3 kids with the lady that you say you don't like, then that comes questionable to you. Like, Jay Shine said it best. When you sit here and you see all your uncles and stuff go through child support, and yet you grow up and do the same thing, that means you didn't learn nothing from them. You know, one of my uncles went through child support. He didn't marry his baby mama. He went through child support. One of my other uncles, he went through it because he ended up getting a divorce. So it was what it was, you know, say the least. And both of them, you know, they toughed it out. I seen how that reaction was. So I'm like, man, I ain't going through that. I ain't going to go through no child support like that. But the whole thing of it was, hey, I'm out here messing around. It's a 50-50 chance, bro. Condom might bust. If I want a raw dog, then hey, I'm gonna end up with a kid. So, my best bet was what? Not to even run that route, not to deal with certain chicks that, I can get sex easy, but at what cost of that condom bust and I fooled around and have a kid. I had one kid scare when a condom bust on me, but it was, a girl I was messing with in high school. And I think I was what, 11th grade, something like that. So the condom did bust. I mean, it wasn't like I was just smashing on them random. It was a girl I was messing with at the time. We was in a relationship. Well, we was out of a relationship, but we was still, messing around. And that's just what it was. You know, I mean, the whole point, we had these, trying to see Ed. I'm Starback driver. Couldn't see your comment, Ed, but It's like the whole conversation, we get an understanding what's going on, and then the process is what? You know, now if you go out there and have another kid, you hitting it with the pump and dump, 9 times out of 10, you have another kid, bro. That's on you. You knew the rules of engagement. Keep going out here smashing these randoms or smashing the chicks you don't find appealing or, I mean, plain and simple. If I keep hitting these women that I say that are not good and I end up getting a kid with them, well, who can we blame on this? But that's even the thing about trapping somebody on child support. I mean, the whole thing with a dude out here smashing some random girl because she giving what's free. We always had that term, ain't nothing out here free. You got to pay some way, somehow. So you get yourself caught in a situation with a chick putting you on child support. 9 times out of 10, majority of the time, I don't talk to majority. Like I ain't gonna say majority. I say some chicks. Some of them they only put their man on child support after dude wasn't even trying to come to the table and work with them. But then others they put them on child support off the rip because that's the culture. Um, I mean, if it is him, it is. If not, you know, then. But I mean, that's the culture. A lot of women will do that. They'll say, "Hey, you ain't doing your responsibility as a man. I'll put you on child support." I mean, what reason? If you're doing what you're supposed to do, then hey, it's like, why are you going on child support? I get that as a man. If I'm doing everything, I'm taking care of stuff. Black money. I was over there on this panel. It wasn't Black, no, it was Jason Reels. It was Jason Reels. Jason Reels Network. So Jason Reels say his girl tried to put him on child support. He lost his job, everything. Went down there, told him he start paying money on child support. So right after she did that, she ended up asking him for $100 for one of his daughters. He said he could have been for him, be like, man, I'm not giving my baby mama this money. She just put me on child support. But he went on ahead, gave her the $100. Then when it boiled down to it, she didn't even go to the court date. So they threw it out. Then she called and told him, she was like, you do give me money, boom, 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 we'll work it out. Cool. You know, sometimes, man, it be on the man that, hey, she put you on child support for a reason. Say the least. If you're going to take care of your kid anyway, what's the problem with child support? I mean, you're going to have to pay anyway, regardless. So I don't understand. If a chick put you on child support, don't you got to take care of your kid anyway? So the rules of engagement, she shouldn't be putting you on child support. Well, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, then you ain't got no reason. But I mean, I understand. I get it. There are women that spite that do put you on child support like a form of control. But then that's when that child support only comes with child support. I mean, I get that too. I told most of my friends that was, had the kids, I was like, bro, go put yourself on child support, give what the court say give, then that eliminates all that. When they calling you deadbeat, hey, them just words. She gonna call you a deadbeat. Even though one of my partners, man, it do everything under the sun for his kid. Anytime his kid wanted something, he got it. Anytime she wanted something, she got it. It was to the point where dude was giving his girl, he was making good money. He was giving her like 1,500. I'm talking about 1,500 a month. Literally, most women ain't getting 1,500 a month. Yeah, hey, I touched on that earlier about the condom, but most chicks weren't even getting 1,500 a month. She tried to pull this whole big scheme to where she finna put him on child support and, get his child support. jacked up or whatever to the point of making get more money. But the problem was, dude turned over his citizenship. He was a citizen in another country because he was doing a job. Like he really didn't even have to like give what he was giving, but his whole mindset was you shouldn't ask for nothing. I'm giving you enough money to pay all your bills and take care of my son. All I need for you to do is make sure he right. I'm trying to make money as his baby mama, not as his wife, not as this like this the type of stuff he was on. She was trying to take advantage of the situation to get more money. You get those type of women, like, bro, it is what it is. I mean, better truth. That's my whole jump from the rip. Wear a condom. Even my whole thing is I laugh at dudes who always complain about chicks with weaves, but then y'all trying to smash fans only models. Most of them chicks got weaves. You say you don't like women with fake this and fake that, but you'll smash it what is it BPL chick because she got a banging body. Like that, I mean, it is what it is. Like I say, I ain't got no dog in the fight. I'm married, been married 16 years, but I get it. Honest, like, bro, I got eyes. I've been single. I know how women play these games. Like nowadays, it's even harder for dudes. That's why I've been like, man. I tell my wife all the time, like, man, I kind of glad I married you because other than that, I don't even think I've been getting married because you can't tell the real from the fake no more. It was so many women I dealt with before I met my wife. Their intentions were to have a man, but then survivor mode kicked in because they seen somebody with a little money. Like, I want longevity, but I want money now. And that yeah, I mean that be the thing though. You know, they that survivor mode kick in, but it's the culture. I always call it society standards. Can you literally blame, them getting caught up in society telling them, hey man, you need to go ahead and get you this type of chick. I mean, get you this type of dude that got money. Me and my wife, I was laughing. I was telling her, I said, this whole Kevin Samuels when he was talking about this high value man, when you really do the numbers on high value men like that, it's not a lot of them out there. That be the crazy part. Cali Homestead Pool Bet, what's going on? I be checking out your garden. See y'all, I'm on a different side, even though I be over here talking with these people in the Manosphere and the spaces, I got my gardening on too. And I got that green thing. Y'all need to go check out. I got some cucumbers growing, I got some tomatoes growing. I'm moving around, but back to this though. Um, yeah, I mean it's just crazy. Like we'll sit here and go back and forth with this argument all day. It's not a lot of dudes out here making money. It's like on average, most men want a certain type of look of woman. They don't want these men. And then you got most women want a certain type of dude, and that whole options thing do come into play like that. Like when it comes down to it, when you hear this whole what is it? Women men having options. If you got that money, you pay for it. If you want a different girl, Mike Tyson was having like a different chick all the time because Mike Tyson had money. Mike Tyson, he was like, man, do whatever I want. He had money. Now you got an average guy that's coming in boxing, ain't got no money. Is he doing that like Mike Tyson, having sex with women all the time? And then you got to understand with that too. A lot of those women attracted to that money. Mike Tyson wasn't no 6 foot tall dude. Mike Tyson had a six pack, but that was about it. That was only six. He had them 6 zeros in his account. But I mean, other than that, Like on average, the tall guy with the money and all the other stuff that women talk about is literally probably what 5% of the whole men in the United States. You know, when you start doing those stats, what is it? I think they said a stat was was it 12% of men are over 6 feet tall or something like around those numbers. Like you're having a percentage of men that are, that you want to be with. It's just, hey, not there. You can't be in this type of circle. Be like, hey, man, I want this type of man. We hear it all the time on Kendra G's show. What's her name? Melanie King, the other chick, Kevin's show. All of them came with that same narrative. All of them wanted a certain type of man. Not that many men out there that's in that frame like that. Like you want a certain type of man. Hey, when it come down to it, when you do the numbers, it is what it is. A lot of those men are not out there like that. Like a lot of women be like, man, I want a man that make this much. Why you don't grow with that man? Why you don't go get you a man that y'all start talking off? Dude got a little drive behind him, and y'all work together to build that empire. Cause I said this on one of my other videos. The marriage thing work in business. You know how many men are in corporate? They got wives that help them. Jeff Bezos, one of the big dudes right there. Jeff Bezos, his wife, when he left her, when she left him, she could have got half of the money. It was the society telling him, man, don't do that. Then all the other guys are gonna look like they have to give half. So, but people didn't know that he gave her so much money in the stock options within the company. So she got her money. It's just not reported like that. You got to go dig into the stories and find out how much money she really got when you put all those assets together like that. You know, good women, man, they in for the long haul. Hey, it happens. You get a divorce. I always say, man, hey, I ain't shot from it. My wife might wake up today and be like, man, I'm tired of you. I'm tired of you talking about these dudes or listen to this. I don't want to be with you no more. The crazy part about it is, it's no sweat over me. And it's like people always say I got trust issues because I do talk about me not trusting my wife. Like my wife, Gabe and all of them, hey man, why you say that about your wife? And like, dude, that's how I've always been like that. I never trust nobody 100%. You can't let me down if I don't fully believe in you like that. You need more people. It is what it is. So many people want to put themselves in the mind frame of saying that they this way or that way, or they better than most. Hey, it is what it is. I take things as they come, you know, and I deal with them accordingly. I don't have to sit here and say, man, I never go through this, which y'all go through. Man, some of y'all dudes on YouTube is horrible. I'm gonna be in the same boat a couple of years or something. So who knows? I understand people in their situations, bro, but like it gets kind of crazy when you start going at all these women. Like literally, you don't even date out. Like most dudes typically go to the club looking for a chick. Them them chicks ain't nothing but for party. They want to go party. They want to drink. Yeah, they might do a little smashing or something like that. If she's not into you, bro, there's other chicks that are. With me traveling all over, man, I did all 48 states. I met so many different women, before I got married, talking to different people. Literally, getting to a point on average, it was cool for me just having a conversation, not even trying to date, just having conversation, talking with women. And man, if you was in this state, me and you to go together, you so cool, you this and that. Okay, cool, cool. But just having conversation, like I told people, when me and my wife we got together, my wife wasn't trying to mess with me. My wife was good being single, like taking care of her kids. We came in as friends, talking. Like I said, her intentions. was just to have somebody cool, and then that's it. She already said with her having kids, she was looking at herself being single for a minute, at least until excuse me, until her kids got older, because you know she did the dancing around with dudes that just want to smash because she got a kid type of stuff. When Kevin used to say that stuff, she said he was 100 on it because she already had kids. Dudes thinking like, oh, she on go, she ready to give it up, but that wasn't the case. Like her whole thing was, man, I just want somebody cool, like, and that's why I came in as the friend. We started talking and stuff like that. I wasn't going on dates with her, nothing like that. We're just talking on the phone, being social. Because, like I told people, I was always out of town. Like my job, I worked at that moving company. I was gone. Like I literally was in Georgia probably like 100 and maybe 20 days out of 365. I was always on the road making money. So like it wasn't no whole thing for me to, scoop her up and take on a date, all this type of stuff. Bro, like I ain't have no car. I ain't have no car. Like, why I'm gonna pay for a car and I'm gone 120 some days, for a car note. And then when I had cars, I was always getting old school, so stuff was wrong with it. And my whole thing, get back to the topic, like, where's the men building? Like I talked about the challenge I'm doing with underrated. With us helping, building us, the men up, talking to them. I was talking to a lot of guys over in the Manosphere, talking with them. Truth as I know, a real good channel. He was saying he want family building warriors for women that are going out here getting these men, getting married, believing in family. Like I keep saying, that in the corporate world, most of these partners, they're married. They deal with a lot of guys that are married because they look at the way you treat your wife as the way you'll do the company. Certain men, they have their flaws and ways of doing stuff. They peep all that stuff. And a lot of times when you're dealing with certain companies, they look at that. I mean, having an understanding, if you got a bad deal in the past, understand it's not gonna be like that forever. I always talk about a couple of people I knew from high school. They sit up there and had, bad situations. A lot of dudes, they was small, slim, dorky, and got out of school, got muscular, started putting on some weight, got a decent job. They was getting chose left and right. And they was like, man, I'm about to go back to high school and run through all the girls I used to mess with in high school that didn't want to give me no play. And that's what some of them guys were doing. I'm like, why are we still living back in high school, bro? Get you a girl and just go on about your life. That whole back then didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me. That's a thing. But to a degree, why do I want to go back to the past and try to smash on a whole bunch of girls that didn't want me? Like, what validation am I getting with that? And even to the point, I ain't trying to go too deep in some of this stuff, but it's like, as men, we help each other out. I'll give you some information. Like I tell a lot of guys, I don't have a dog in the fight, but when I hear guys say, man, marriage is a raw deal, so explain my marriage. Well, you different, man. Your wife is an anomaly. I'm like, really? So you mean to tell me most of these dudes, I got the best thing smoking out here just because me and my wife cook, we work on things together. It's a communication thing. That's the biggest thing. What a lot of people are lacking. You gotta, communicate with that woman. Tell her what you want. Just like that man, he communicates to that woman, say what he want. The woman got to do the same. Y'all got to be on the same page. 9 times out of 10, if it don't work, then that means y'all not compatible. That's like the biggest thing. A lot of times, if you're not compatible, it's not going to work. I don't care how fine the chick is. I don't care how stunning or whatever the dude is to the woman. It's not gonna be Marty's in the building. What's going on, Marty? It's not gonna work. That I always be the craziest part when you sit here and start talking to people just because of the looks. I I said, but I told my wife, I said, you're my 10. To another guy, you're not their 10. You might be a 7 or an 8, but you're not their 10. They don't look at you the way I look at you. You know, they're not sitting up here saying that, man, this woman, man, she got a good head on her shoulders. She know how to talk to a man. She know how to deal with a man. She know how to work with a man. A lot of guys, they're not going to say that about my wife if they don't know her. How many people are actually taking the time to get to deal with these women? I know I'm definitely cutting up now because this is a bad area right here. Yeah, I have to get right off this road. Probably gonna be like 2. Can y'all hear me? I don't think I'm coming in clear because I know right when I get over here, it gets real bad. Seriously. Oh, you can hear good then. Okay. But basically, I mean, it just get rough like that, man. Like Katie harping on how good somebody look for this, how good somebody look for that. I mean, but your attitude, the way you represent yourself and to represent others, man, that's what I look for in a relationship. Like, man, that girl can be, I mean, literally, I mean, I'm gonna go into this one first. So I seen these high school kids talking to girls, and they were saying that which one would you rather deal with? Would you rather deal with okay, what's going on? Which one would you rather do? Would you rather deal with a drop the link again if anybody want to come up too? But they was like, which one would you rather deal with? You rather deal with a big dude or you rather deal with a DV? You know, domestic violence. So they're saying this, and the girls are saying, man, I get that DV all day. I ain't trying to mess with no big dude. Like, that's the point of which, you know, girls say, well, I'd rather deal with a dude that'll beat on me than deal with a big dude. Like, this is the mindset of these young girls. Same thing with the dudes. Like, the dudes, they like, do you want a fat girl? That cooks clean, do everything. She's there for you. Or you want to get an IG model that's crazy and cut your clothes up. And I'm laughing because I'm literally seeing everybody making the wrong decision because these young kids are looking at this stuff. Social, I'm telling you, when I always say this, society standards is real. Society put us in the mindset that we got to go with that herd mindset. I literally very seldom see people like, man, you crazy. I ain't doing that. Very seldom. Very seldom I hear people saying, I'm not making that type of decision. I'm gonna do this for my life and I'm gonna do my life better. I'm gonna do better than what my mom and my dad did with me. You know, that was one of my biggest things with me having kids. You know, it's being one of the best fathers I could be. You know, that's one of the craziest things. Like that's one of my biggest goals in life. That's not even like a top notch. People like, man, you know, man, my goal is to be a millionaire. My goal is to be one of the best dads I can be. That's one of my biggest goals. You know, being there for my kids. You know, that's the whole reason why I've been talking about this whole challenge. Here for the grind. with underrated. Prince Pierre, the game show host. Alonzo Hall, the All Star advisor. I'm talking with them like, hey man, I'm trying to be the best I can be for my kids. You know, they the future. Like, when do we ever put our kids in a situation to win? I, I mean, going on a tangent about life insurance. When I talked to Alonzo, I did the deal right there. Alonzo, I'm like, if you I can honestly tell you, it was so funny to me when I was talking to Lonzo about getting this life insurance, and he was like, "Okay, so when you get your numbers, and I told you this, look it over, talk with your wife, and y'all." Like, no, I'm ready to do this now. You need my card, you know, like, let's go. Life insurance. I even like Lonzo. I get life insurance for my kids. Let's go. You say, "Oh, you want to go ahead with it now?" Yeah. He signed the paperwork. We done. Even in this space, that's why I keep saying, like, all these guys that talk about they got kids, they in families and stuff like that. They got girls, they got old ladies or whatever they type of relationship they got. You need to have life insurance. I like it. Alonzo does a whole bunch of videos talking insurance. So with you having a lack of knowledge going to his channel giving you free game, come over and say, hey, some food, got a bro that come over, some for like put a light bulb in or something. Yeah, man, my bad. It's hard out here for a working man. This internet be jumping, going, but I mean, say the least. Like I'm saying, if anything, man, Callie Pooh Pear, how you doing?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you
Hey, what's
just
going
fine.
on?
Hey, I
Yeah,
was just listening to what you were talking about. Got my blood
yeah,
boiling a little bit.
yeah. But it's like, say the least, if anything was to happen to me, like that's why I always trying to promote life insurance so much because it's been pushed in my family. But it's like, who's gonna be there for my kids? Who's gonna be there for my wife?
Right.
Back in the day when that situation happened, when a man died, the woman had to go get another husband, and he had to take the responsibility of all them kids that she had.
Yep.
And most of the time back in the day, the kids, you had kids for labor to help you with your farming, taking care of things. We don't have to have that many kids now like we used to. But the point of it is, if something do happen, like that woman has to be, have some type of money. And we always talk about how the men are the protectors and the providers. So if that provider is not there, who's gonna be footing the bill? Who's gonna be helping that lady? You
Right.
know, you can jump in.
No, you're absolutely right. And it can be difficult. People they look at us, Earl and I, my husband, and they're like, "You guys have 6 kids? Like, what? You don't have a TV? You don't have cable?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, we wanted a big family." But a lot of people, that's not what they want. I was thinking about when you were talking about how, you know, um, the standards that we have nowadays, and it is extremely jaded
Hmm.
because a lot of the people are not thinking long term. They're thinking with their eyes and not with their brain and not with their heart. When you look at like the movie with Queen Latifah, and Common, I can't think of the name of Mrs. Right, or whatever. The beautiful girl was so shallow and so conceited and everything, but the woman of substance had a little weight on her, but was educated, knew how to take care of him and everything. And I mean, he was really struggling with who was the best person. If a woman wants to be beat on just so she can have sustainability, she's stupid and shallow in the first place because she's looking for someone to take care of her instead of taking care of herself. And my whole thing is, so what if something happens to him? Then what's going to happen? You're going to have to what? Go to the next guy? Have your own, and then you don't have to worry about that. You know.
Yeah, and that's like the lottery ticket method. Like, just keep buying that lottery ticket. You know, if that man don't do right, go try to get another lottery ticket. That might be a winner. That might be a winner. That might be a winner.
Let me tell you something. When Earl and I got married, I was 19, he was 20. I was over 300 pounds when we got married. I was the first big girl he'd ever been with. He was small. He was used to small girls. He became my friend and saw me for who I was. We were married in less than 4 months. That was in 95. 6 years later, we're about to celebrate our 28th anniversary next month on the 5th because he saw me for who I was. And put it to you like this, most guys and women that marry for love, not sustainability, stay married and stay happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Most
No,
people
that's
who are superficial have repeat offenders, second husband, third husband, baby daddy, baby mama. We don't have that. We have the same 6 kids. We went half on 6 kids. Our oldest is 24. He'll be 25. He was actually born on our third anniversary. Next month, he'll be 25. Our baby is 14. Same mama, same daddy, you know,
Yeah.
because we married for love, not for convenience, not for what we could get out of it. When we got married, we were both broke, both college students, both working part-time jobs. And I mean, we understood that we were going to have to work really hard and diligently to make a life for ourselves. And we both did the work, and we're still doing the work.
And see, that's the biggest thing about growing that family together. A lot of people not working together. I hope I'm not breaking up, but a lot of people don't work together no more. They want an already made man to come in with all the money, take care of everything, and they do nothing. Just was it pretty privilege? Like I come in, the queen is here, and that's it. I don't want a man that's working at Popeyes or starting off, and he's doing light school. He has a trade, and he starts off as a plumber, um, cleaning toilets or something like that. While he's going to school, they don't want that. They want an already made dude. And even it's crazy with the women. Like if I have my own, you and we
You're breaking up.
make it.
Yeah, I can't hear you. Say something now.
Okay. All right, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
When it comes down to it, if if I have money and I meet a woman that has money, we both work together. We both set goals. You want to start a business, I help you with your business. I want to start a
Right,
business, you help me with my business. And we go together and
right.
make that happen. Not me coming in with a whole bunch of money and then you just facilitate the women make a help me start this. I know this lady. She ended up helping this guy start a lawn care business. You know,
Mhm.
and with the lawn care business, ended up having a whole bunch of you know literally 3 trucks, 4 trucks, and the guy just wasn't going to work, wasn't doing things properly. Ultimately, he ended up his workers stopped working because he skipping payments on the workers. These are the people that's making you the money, and you're not working with them properly. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
no, that's not cool.
And he
That's
ultimately lost
not
the
cool.
contract, and then he ended up not dealing with the woman no more because she got tired of him getting complacent. Didn't want to do anything. Then when she left, he's oh man, see man, you're not when I'm down, you're not trying to stay with me. Like she met you down and y'all rose up together, but then you had this
Right,
complacent mindset. Like
right.
we talk about situations with a lot of women doing shady stuff. Dudes do shady stuff too.
Absolutely. It goes both
And
ways.
yeah,
What I would
and
say is, have you know who Shantae Moore is? The singer
yeah,
Shantae Moore?
I heard her.
Okay. So she's gone through quite a few different relationships and everything. And she said that God sat her down and told her, would you date yourself? And she was like, what do you mean? And she was like, if you saw a guy that had all of the qualities and all of the problems and hangups that you have, would you be attracted to that? And so she was like, ooh, she said she had to really analyze herself and really understand the type of person that she was, good, bad, and indifferent. Once she started to do the work on herself and she felt like she could date herself, then she went back into the dating world. A lot of people are at a 2 but want to get with a 10, and that makes no sense because you have to constantly compromise yourself. If you want to get with someone where you can have longevity and not feel inferior, match where you are and grow together. And when you were talking about how the guy got complacent and everything and felt like she wasn't holding him down, this is the issue that I have not just with men, but with women too, because when we're counseling people, I'm constantly trying to help. I try to stay neutral. I'm not taking a side. I'm looking at what he's saying, I'm looking at what she's saying. And so, what I try to get people to see is it is her job to hold you down while you're trying. But when you give up, you're giving up on your dreams. You're giving up on her. You're giving up on your life. So is she supposed to stay down in the ground with him, or if it's a guy and the woman is the go getter, and she's trying, 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 and then she stops? I mean, it has to be that both people are really trying. And if there is a disconnect, try to figure out what the disconnect is. And sometimes you have to bring in a third party who's neutral that can listen to both sides and help come up with a resolution. When that party is not willing to try anymore, then the question is, well, how much longer do you think I'm going to try? Because we only live once. I'm trying to build my little tiny empire over here. That was our dream when we got together. We said these are the things that we were going to do. But now, when the rubber meets the road, you're not trying to do your part. Am I supposed to do both parts? And as a
Yeah.
woman, that becomes extremely difficult because women get a very bad rap, just like my brothers do too. But we get a very bad rap of trying to do too much, trying to go too hard, trying to be the man. And I just want to say, we as women, most, even alpha women, we're not trying to be the man. We don't want to do your job. Our job is big enough. But in the same situation that you were just talking about, if he doesn't do his job, the job still has to get done or we fold. So now she's got to pick up his slack and still do her job. So now she's got to be the wife. She's got to be the mom. She's got to do the cooking, the cleaning, do everything that she has to do, all of her responsibilities, and then take on his because he won't do it. How long is she supposed to do that before she says, I can't do it no more?
Yeah.
Then when she
'Cause-
drops a ball in any area, he wants to come down on her?
yeah, because that's even like with my wife. I cook and clean in my house. That's why I don't understand what this whole man. The woman does the chores, the guy cut the grass, and the woman she washed the dishes and all that. You cut the grass maybe twice a month. If you got, depending on the area, you might have to cut it every week to keep your
Right.
grass up. I mean, so on in, cutting that yard that one time that whole day, maybe working on a car every now and then, but yet she's cooking every day, constantly cleaning, um, doing the chores, throughout the house, washing clothes. That's all. Like cooking and cleaning is an everyday thing.
Mhm.
Everyday thing.
Yeah.
You know, my wife, she washes. I was up to what 2 o'clock the other day washing some clothes. My wife went to sleep. Came in. I was like, "You ain't wash the clothes?" She was asleep. I went there and washed them myself.
Thank you.
And
And that's
majority of
what
the
I'm
time, she
saying.
washes them. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. You saw that something needed to be done. Now you could have been like a lot of people and been like, she didn't wash the clothes, So I'm find something else. I'll go buy me something else to wear, or whatever. But no, you said, see a need, fill a need. And a lot of times that's what happens. It's never going to be 100 per 100. It might be sometimes 60-40, sometimes 80-20. Very rarely is it 100 for 100 because you have two individuals, two imperfect individuals, and you're gonna drop the ball every now and again. There has to be an understanding of allowance. When you mess up, I'll be there to pick you up. When she messes up, she'll be there to pick you up, and you guys have each other's back. In a lot of relationships, people should not be in relationships because they're hella selfish and they don't want to compromise. They want the other person to do the compromising. Because there's a lot of people, men and female, that would not have washed those clothes. But you did. A lot of people would have been like, that ain't my job. Just like when you see people, you can tell how they're raised because you'll see like somebody walk over some trash and be like, I didn't put that there. So what? Get it up. You see it. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Because even to the whole thing with Kevin Samuels, a lot of times I always laugh because I said the biggest thing with Kevin, Kevin was trying to push, for a lot of people to open their eyes and see. I mean, he did push some other things, but the biggest thing that I kind of laughed at with a lot of the women to prove Kevin wrong, you didn't have to come up there and shame him or talk crazy to him. Just come up there and marry a woman. Even if a lot of times he could tell when you were faking it, but to the ones that were real and genuine that they were married, he couldn't say nothing to them.
Right.
They did things as a wife. They cook, clean, and provide. He didn't want that because that wasn't the drama. That's why I say a lot of times I kind of stay away from the gender topics because it's not getting a lot of movement within a lot of people because they want to hear the fussing and the arguing. They want to be literally entertained. So,
Entertain.
yep, the point of me trying to tell you about buying houses, getting insurance, it's a dead topic until you get older in life. Like I always say, I don't want to be 50 years old saying I'm getting my life together. I don't
Right.
want to be 60 years old saying that. There's some things I need to change and straighten out. I granted that, but I don't want to be an older person saying, man, I got to change my life. I got to get my life together. You know, even with a lot of older men and women that are looking for love, you know
Mhm.
what you got to do to get married. You just don't want to do it, whether it
Right.
be a woman, whether it be a man. On average, most I was on a panel, great channel, Miss T with the T. She talks about relationship topics and her being single, being raising her child, and when it comes down to it, she says she's stubborn. She's starting to realize talking with a lot of people, talking to more panels about stuff. She's stubborn. She's too independent. And if you being too independent, how can you facilitate a relationship with somebody to try to, work it out when you're too independent? That means you really don't want to be in a relationship. So that plays a big part in it too with a lot of people. Then you have the men that say, man, I want a good woman, but what are you bringing to the table as a good man?
That
Just saying I'm a good man doesn't help.
part.
You got to present yourself a certain look for that woman, and if that woman don't like that look, there's other women that like that look. See, that's the biggest thing. We put ourselves into this whole frame of mind of this the type of woman I want.
Right.
Saying like with my wife, she was laughing at me because I always dated bigger women or women that were bigger than her. I think my wife, she was like 120 something when I met her. Like she like 130 something now, maybe pushing like 45 or something, whatever. But the
Mhm.
thing of it was, I always dated, bigger women and taller. My wife is only 5'4". Most of
But
the
she's not
women I
high.
mostly dealt with that was bigger, like taller than that and
Mhm.
stuff. And so when she was like, "Well, why did you marry me?" I was like, "Because you're my 10." Like I was saying earlier, I said my 10 is different than somebody else's 10.
Right.
You know, I got a
Absolutely.
chance, just like you said, I got a chance to meet her, understand, talk with her before we had the whole relationship thing. So it came to pass that We bonded with each other on certain things, and everything else we worked out in between.
Right. Well, you have to look at the caliber of people that you're dealing with. So if a woman or a guy is willing to smash the first night that they met, they're not looking for a mate. They're looking for someone to smash. They're not looking for a wife because why would you sleep with somebody that you do not know? To me, first, we're not even going to talk about medical because a condom does not protect you from herpes. So that it's dumb to me. Um, there was a time when my husband and I separated. I'm very transparent. Alonzo will tell you, I'm very transparent. So there was a time when we separated, and I went back into the dating world. Oh my gosh, I was like, oh, these men are dumb. Like, there's no way in the world. If I just went on a date with you, this is our first date. You think that I'm going to let you put your lips on my lips? Like, you can't even kiss my forehead. I don't know you. I don't know what your health is. It's too much. These people don't have sustenance. They just want to bump and grind everywhere. So I'm like, don't say you want to be in a relationship unless it's just a sexual one, but not a relationship that has meaning to it. Because if you did, you would get to know the person and find out if this is someone you'd want to be with for a long time. I would say forever, but a lot of people can't see past the end of the day, let alone 5 years from now. But it's just people need to write out on paper what it is they think they want and then look at have they ever had it in life. And if they had it, how did they treat it when they had it? Because if God's going to give it to you again and you mistreat it again, you may never get it again. So I think people really need to think about what it is that they're looking for because some people don't want to get married. Some people do just want to smash and grab or grab and smash and go on about their business. But for those who really want to get into a relationship, I say this because we're all imperfect, nobody's going to be 100% everything across the board. But guess what? You're not 100% in everything across the board either. So you have to have a sense of grace for the person that you think you want to be with because they have to give you grace. Number one. Number two, when you are looking for a mate, okay, there are like what, 3 or 4 times the amount of women that there are to men. So for men, they may feel like, hey, you don't like this, somebody else will. Okay, and that very well may be true. But just because you didn't want to change you, what you could have had that was going to give you that happiness, you let it go because you wouldn't change. A lot of men can be very rigid and they don't want to change how they are, but they want the woman to come in and do all of the compromising. And that's ridiculous. And if it's a woman that won't change but wants the man to do all of the compromising, that's equally ridiculous. Lastly, what I would say is when you're looking for a mate, you have to take into consideration that finding a mate of sustenance that you can rock out the rest of your life with may not come in the package that you initially thought you were going to have. So you have to be prepared to look for love, not look for a package, because this is what happens. A lot of times, people are looking for this perfect mate, And then you can have, okay, you ever seen a person go to a birthday party and they have a big, beautiful gift in a box? And the box is so beautiful and it has pretty ribbons and bows and everything on it. But when they take that lid off, it's a dummy gift, a fake gift.
Yeah.
Now, think about that same box, but on the inside, it's a bunch of dog poop, cat poop, fish manure, horse poop.
Yeah.
Just disgusting. The outside looks adorable. You're like, oh my God, this has to be a great present. They went through so much to get this present for me. But then when you look at it, like, it's a bunch of crap. I don't want
It-
this. But
it's
that's what
funny
you're
you
looking
say
for
that.
when you're dating.
It's funny you say that because I'm thinking about my cousin. She literally bought her dad a coffee mug and she packed it in about 15 boxes. And
Mhm.
each box
Mhm.
was all wrapped up.
Mhm.
And it was nice. It was a joke. It was funny. But
A
then it
gag
goes to
gift.
show you, like, yeah, the gag gift. So he literally had this big old expectation of having this big old enormous gift, and it dropped all the way down to a coffee mug.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people look at in a relationship. They look on that outside shell and they like, man, this is perfect. I don't even want to know what's inside. I just like what I see.
Right.
And yeah, it don't
We
work
see
like
with
that,
our
you know.
eyes, but we should not date with our eyes.
Yeah. And that's like I was referring to earlier about my 10 is my 10 and your 10 is your 10. Like my wife, perfect woman for me. Like I could look at somebody else and I'm like, yeah, she cool. She all right. You
But
know,
she ain't what
she
I got.
yeah. And I always tell like
Exactly.
when Kevin used to always talk about Kelly being I think a 8 or something. I was
Mhm.
like, well, Kelly is a 10 in my book. Rihanna's probably like an 8 or a 9. I'm
Right.
like, I like Kelly. I like her features and I like her. Well, she looked this way. And I'm like, well, your preference is your preference. My
Right.
preference is my preference. So that's what makes us different. That's why we can't literally come to a drawdown conclusion unless we compare certain things and we have our own category. And that's even screwed because, you know, I might like long hair. You like short hair. So it goes
Mhm.
into another narrative from there. That's why I say we have these talks all about this relationship talk on the internet. It gets overshadowed by what the real thing is. People getting to know each other, having that issue of compromising and working on things. And that's where it always mess up at because we always want to be right. Nobody wants to be wrong and they know everything.
Right. Well, I think that in the end, in my opinion, people, we have our freedoms, so we can do what we want. My only concern is a lot of people are going to stay empty inside, and a lot of people are going to go around and just hurt people. For example, think about this. We all saw Tales of the Hood, right? You
Yeah,
remember Tales of the Hood? Remember that part when the guy had was going around just killing all these people and everything, and right when he had his opportunity for redemption, all of the people came to him and was like, why did you kill me? And the little girl was like, I was just my living, playing in my living room with my baby doll, and you shot me. All of these people were affected and hurt by the mentality and the actions of this one man. He had all these bodies all around because of his shenanigans, and he damaged and took the lives of a lot of people. Now, in relationships, you may not take their life, but you can take the spirit of a person. You can change the whole trajectory of how a person lives the rest of their life by the damage that you do because you were not serious in the first place. And so you hurt that person, whether you're a female or a male. Where if you're a guy and you know And then in the same thing with these girls always trying to take dudes for granted. The first guy that she does that to, he might recover. He might try to kill her, because it's messing with his pocket. It's so many things. It's just so many ways that we can hurt people. So that's why I say a lot of people should not try to be in relationships because they're selfish. If you cannot compromise with a person and look past their imperfections because they got to look past yours, then you should not be in a relationship. The Bible. I'm sorry. I'm about to be a pastor. I refer to the Bible a lot because that's how I live my life. But the Bible says that we have to bear with each other in our grievances. A lot of people don't want to bear with each other. They want to sit up and look at everything that you're doing wrong and how you're not doing it how I want you to do it, and so I don't want to be with you no more. Instead of saying, well, wait a minute, what about me? Because I know that I do things that hurt you. I might snap at you. Sometimes I may, not be the most welcoming person. I may forget to do things that you asked me to do. You know, let me try to be the best that I can be and love you for who you are. And then do the same thing. And then we can work it out. But people don't want to work it out because they're so busy saying, I ain't got to put up with you next, that they're not trying to say, hey, it's not all you. In any situation, it's not all that other person. We all play a part, but we don't want to take the responsibility for our part. And so
Yeah.
then we hurt a lot of people. And so you might not have physical bodies laid up and know where the bones are, but you have spiritual bodies with a whole lot of spirits that you have just sucked the life out of. So it's like you're a parasite
Yeah.
because you're just sucking the life. You're a vampire, just going from this female to that female to that female, just sucking the life out of them.
Yeah.
But you the
Because
man.
that's what happened. I know this guy right now. He had like two women cheat on him. He had kids by him. So like right now, his mindset is he's telling people, I'm about to be a dog. I'm about to like he's transformed into a whole nother person on these relationships that he had to where, in my opinion, the guy he didn't really have too much of a drive. So
Mhm.
the women were looking through other relationships to compensate what he didn't have versus just leaving him. Because honestly speaking, that whole term nice guys finish last is really a thing. Like he's a nice guy, but that's just it, you know. And for the women that wanted more out of that relationship, instead of them just coming to conclusion and say, well, this not for me, I'ma leave. They stuck around with the nice guy, ultimately got caught, got in trouble, and now they out of a relationship, sort of things like that. But and the crazy part, I'm looking at it like, dude, don't do that. I'm like, I got my heart broken before. Don't do it. It doesn't sit well for you because for one, that's not you. That's
Right.
not how you live. That's not how you move. So it's
Right.
gonna be kind of weird for you to be this player slash, Mac Daddy, whatever you want to call it nowadays. And it's not gonna be in your favor because for one, you don't know how to move like that. You
Right.
gotta move with no regret. You gotta like be a horrible
Black
person.
in your
Just
heart.
as them yeah. Just as some ladies did to you, you gotta be horrible to other women like that. You didn't want them to do that to you, so why are you gonna do that to another female? Like, dude, it's
Because
not
hurt
gonna end
people
well.
hurt people, but
Yeah.
healed people heal people.
Yep.
He's hurt.
And
And so he feels like, well, they hurt me, so I'm gonna hurt them, or either it's, well, I'm not gonna let nobody else hurt me, so I'm gonna become the dog.
yep.
But see, that's the same thing. Those women that cheated on him probably have been cheated on, and so you know what? This is what I want people to do when they are interested in somebody. Have the a conversation of what you're really looking for in a partner. Write it out. What type of goals do you want them to have? Do you want them to be totally ambitious? Do you want them to, not the, oh, I want somebody that's got a bomb physique or, got the big booty. No, because you know what? She could be in a car accident or he could be in a car accident and totally mess up their physical. Are you going to break up with them now because they don't look like they used to look? Not about the physical, but who they are. Are they a trustworthy person? Are they faithful? Are they responsible? Are they respectful? Would your parents love them or your siblings love them? Because when you get into a relationship with somebody, it's not just about you and them. It does become a family thing. Sometimes, like I can remember when we first got married and Earl and I got into an argument. I wanted my mom to be on my side. She was like, but you're wrong. And I was like, how you gonna take his side? I'm your daughter. She was like, because you're wrong. And so that showed me that, it's a family thing. Family does get included. Now, you don't want some of them in your business, but those that can be neutral and really help and want to see you win, you include them into your community. But you have to first realize what kind of a relationship you want. Because if you don't know what you actually want in a partner, you're probably not going to get it or you'll get it and not realize it until it's too late because you
Yeah.
didn't look at what it is.
It does that with so many people. They get into relationships, and I always call it society standards. Society has a standard type of way that you deal with women and deal with men. Society has a standard type of relationship, you know. And I say this about my wife all the time, and it's crazy, but she kind of be like, "Don't tell people I did that." So when we first got into a relationship, and we would, have situations where we get into an argument, she would just be yelling, throwing her hands up, talking all crazy to me, and I'll just sit there and look at her. And when she's done, I'm like, "You finished?" She'll be like, "Yeah, what you got to say?" Nothing, and walk off. I did it about 3 times. On that third time, yeah, but the third time, this what happened. She came to me after she calmed down and was like, "Why do you do that?" I was like, "Do what?" And she was like, "Well, when we be arguing and talking about stuff, you don't say nothing. You just let me argue. I feel bad. I feel like crazy and dumb and stuff like that." And like I told her, it takes two to argue. I said, "We're adults. We can sit here and have a conversation. If I, let's say, I walked in the house with my shoes on and got mud all over the carpet. That's
Mhm.
something simple as me just taking off my shoes and never doing it again.
Right.
You muddied up the carpet. Can you get that up? And stop doing that because you're gonna have to keep cleaning up if you keep doing it. That's the regular voice, not why you muddying up the floor. I gotta clean up this house. I gotta clean up the whole house by myself. Then I gotta come behind you like a baby. What's wrong with you? Like we don't have to talk like that. We're adults, you know.
So
Let alone talking to kids like that.
when a woman, and I'm just speaking for my sisters, and I've been there myself. When a woman pops off like that, there's something else. There's
Yeah,
a frustration that has been a brewing, and a lot of times for women, I know y'all say and it's true, we can be very emotional, but a lot of times we're in robotic mode. We got to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. And so we're just go, 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 go. That we don't take time to think about our feelings and how we feel about stuff. So you could have walked in and muddied up the floor 7 times before, and she never said nothing. But that eighth time, she just pops off. That's because she's been in a place to where she's just been stuffing it and stuffing it and stuffing it. Or maybe when she tries to talk, and I'm not saying this for you, I'm saying in general, when a woman does not feel, or man does not feel like their feelings can be validated when they go to their partner and say, hey, this is bothering me. When you do this, it makes me feel this way or whatever, because they get that pop off, they become very reserved, and they don't share their feelings because they don't feel safe with you with their feelings.
Yeah.
So the only time they will begin to express how they feel is when they have had enough and they just don't care. Now they have no filter, so you get what you get because it's coming off however it's coming off. Or they will go and find shelter in somebody else.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I feel like this. At the end of the day, there's really no reason to ever cheat other than just being greedy. Because if you can say, I really love her, but she just doesn't do this, or I really love him, but he just doesn't do this little 20% versus the 80. Come on. So many people will leave their 80s for 20s. It's ridiculous. And then when you get over here with the 20, you're like, well, wait a minute. Wait, but my other person, they used to do this, but I'm not that person. And then you in a whole nother thing. Then you want to come back. Nah, you ain't coming back. Go be with that little 20. Go be with your little 7%. Because this is 93 all over right here. And you can't have this no more. Then,
Yeah.
because we don't take the time to say, hey, look, your feelings are important to me, but my feelings are important to me as well. I want to validate your feelings, but you got to validate mine. But the person on the receiving end has to be willing to listen with their ears, not with their mouth, not, oh, while you're trying to express to me how you're feeling, I'm coming up with my rebuttal because I'm going to tell you how this, no, 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 no. No, because you're not listening. You're preparing to argue.
Yeah.
It has to
And
be, go ahead.
now I was gonna say that's how my wife, like, it was to me, and we talked about it. It was more or less just taught behavior. You know,
Right,
she seen her
right,
mom do that. She seen other people, like other women, do that. So that was like taught behavior. It's like the norm. You know, when you
right,
see this type of arguing and going on in your household, this is how you're taught this. Like, I talked to my son, my oldest son, and I told him, I said, when I started talking to a lot of guys in the manosphere, when I first, I think it was like 18 or 19, I think it's either 18 or 19 when I started listening to most of the guys. And I kind of looked at myself, I'm like, man, was I really talking to my son right, giving him a lot of game and teaching him how to be a man more, because I was always working, I'm making money. And he told me, he was like, I seen how you move with my mom, because that's really my stepson. So he said, I seen how you move with my mom. I don't really interact with my dad. So even though we didn't talk much, we had our talk every now and then. But I seen how you moved, the way you carried yourself, the way you worked. Like when he got in college, he went and got 2 jobs. He worked at Best Buy, he worked at Sonny's Barbecue, and he was working those jobs and going to college. Just like, man, I'm living life. I got a girlfriend, she's cool, but I'm not really that into it. Like, kind of cared a little bit from me, but a little bit more of himself too, because the whole thing of it was, if they had a relationship, they just had a relationship. If it didn't, it wasn't there, it just wasn't there.
right,
And he was cool. Like, that's my thing. Like, I'm not forcing anything. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, then so be it. But
right.
don't wait till you want to figure out you want to be in a relationship with me and try to double back, because that's how one of my ex did to me. And when she found out I was married, she was mad. I'm
Yeah,
like, what you mad for? She like, well, you didn't give me another chance. I'm like, you had a chance. It didn't work out. So therefore, like, she knew that it's like the lottery. Like, you knew you had the lottery ticket, but you let it go away. And now that you're trying to get it back, like, let me try to see if I can find it again. Ah, man,
yeah,
it's invalid. I can't cash it in. And that's a lot of times where you get in these relationships where it be men and women. That's how it goes. And what you were saying earlier too is funny, because I always tell my wife, I say there's two type of men: the men that cheat for a reason, or the men that's just naturally dogs. I was like,
Right.
most of the time, if a woman marries a dude that's a dog, she knew what he was about, but she married him for a reason, or she was in a relationship with him for a reason on the premise of what? Him being a guy that can have sex, or him being a guy that makes fast money or looks a certain way. But then we never talk about those percentage of men that cheat for a reason. Like I told my wife, I said, there are men that cheat on women because she doesn't cook. And the woman that works might bring him something to buy him
Yes.
some food. And he'll cheat for that because he has that type of connection with a woman on the premise of just bringing food that he's not getting at
What's
home.
that analogy that I cannot stand? My work wife or my work husband.
Yeah, I don't play that too.
No, nope,
Yeah,
not
it,
even. No,
it's,
that's your coworker, and we gonna keep
yeah,
it just in that area. That's your coworker.
yeah. This lady, she said that one time I used to work at the insurance company, and she was like, "Ooh, a new work husband," and I just looked at her. I didn't say anything, and she kind of went from a happy smile to ha ha ha. And she was more casual. And the more she started talking to me, she was like, "Yeah, I know you married." I was like, "Why? How you know that?" I was like, "Cause I don't have my ring on." And she was like, "Well, the way when I said that, the way you look, like that wasn't a thing for you." And it
Mm-mm.
was crazy because she said that to another guy that I trained to go up to that same facility. Her and the guy was messing around.
See,
He wasn't married, like he was single. So her and the guy was messing around. So she was planting those seeds like that. And I was laughing when I talked to the guy. I told him, I was like, she called me her work husband the first time she met. He's like, bruh, you wouldn't believe this. She did the same thing to me. And then next thing you know, when I came back the next time, we exchanged numbers and we was hollering at each other. I was like, wow. It's like that little thing right there. And like I said, he wasn't in no relationship, didn't have no girlfriend or nothing. He was like, man, I don't want no girl right now. He's like, man, I'm into myself. I'm trying to get my money back up because dude had a business and it went belly up on the premise of him dealing with this girl and she was no good with money. She wasn't managing money properly. So he was like, until I get to where I want to be financially,
right,
I'm not gonna deal with any women. It's not saying that I won't ever, be in a relationship like
right.
that strong, but it just right now I'm not putting it into a woman like that. So if I do get a woman that wants to be with me, she just got to stick around and ride the wave with me because it's not going to be a full relationship where you have my undivided attention because that's how he moves. And I was like, hey, cool.
But he's honest and he's upfront.
Mm-hmm.
And so if he's bringing that to the table, then a woman has to either be a delusional person and be like, oh, well, because, a lot of women, men too, but a lot of women believe that they can make a guy do what they want because of what's between their legs.
Mm-hmm.
I have a cousin that, so we had a time in our lives when we had really bad times, and so we were living in a shelter. So he was living with his mom. We couldn't because we had a big family, and he couldn't live in the shelter with me. That's why we're trying to get our shelter started to keep families together. But that's something else. But me and the kids were in the shelter, and he was working and he was going to school, and I was working and I was going to school, and I was pregnant, and I was working two jobs, and I was going to school full time. And my cousin was like, "Why are you working so hard? Why are you doing all of this?" And I was like, "Because this is our family, and I'm trying to get us back to our old lifestyle." And she goes, "Why? Why not just break up with Earl and just get another guy with some money?" And I was like, "For what? Like, why? You want me to tear my family up because Earl lost his job? Like, that's dumb." And she was like, "But you're working so hard." I said, "And he's worked hard. My husband did 8 years in the military for us. And I'm going to turn my back on him when he risked his life. He was there in 9/11. Like, what are you talking about? I would never leave him because finances got bad. We're both working out of it." She said, "I'm going to just tell you like this, I ain't never got to worry about money because P always dominates Y. And I was just like, you about the most shallowest somebody I have ever come in contact with. But that's what a lot of females believe. Their P will always dominate the Y chromosome. What? And that's why you get beat. And that's why he will cheat on you. And he will cheat on you in your face because you think that your P is dominating his Y chromosome. No, he sees you for who you are, and he will deal with you, but deal with her and her and her and her, and maybe him too. Mm, I ain't here for it.
Yeah, that's always the big issue, with going into relationships like that. Is, you know, your looks can only get you so far, so
Right.
much of the time. I mean, and even with sex is, hey, it's good. It feels good. But to a point, it gets overrated when you have to do things. The whole term you can't live off of love. Love can't pay the bills. Same thing as with sex. Sex, hey, make up sex and all that stuff. It feels good, but that's all it's for the moment. You know.
Yeah.
Cat Williams said it that one time when he was talking about if you think this girl is hot, go in the bathroom, rub one out, and come back. How fine is she now? It gets to a point to where with men and women, we try to validate certain things and try to represent certain things in our life. But like I said, knowing that truth of what do I really want in a woman, and am I going to look for that? I had so
Right.
many guys talk about, man, ain't no good women out here. Like I tell them, I say, man, you in Atlanta? They say, yeah, I'm in Atlanta. I'm like, did you go to Buckhead? Oh, them women too stuck up. Did you go to Marietta? No, did you go to Douglasville? It's different city areas around here that has different type of women. If you
Right.
only stay in your one area, you're gonna always get those one type of women that think on a certain mindset. That's how they move. That's how they think, and it's like a collective. When you move out of that area or talk to different women out of that area, some of them might have that similar, but when it gets to a degree, most of these women over here might want better, but you got to filter through. And if you don't feel like, man, I'm not going to keep going through tons and tons of women to try to find that good one, I'm done. That's you not wanting to do the work. So you can't get
Right.
mad at the result when you can't get a woman of your choosing. Like
Right.
I always hear that. Like there's short men. They always complain about ain't no woman want no short men. There's a couple of women that want short men, but they got to
I'm
get to
five
know you.
three. I'm 5'3", 3/4". My husband is 5'6".
Yeah.
Now,
See?
I've always dated taller guys, but it didn't matter to me about his height. What mattered to me is that when I was struggling, that man prayed for me, like held my hands and prayed for me. When I got baptized, because he did not know how to draw that good, he went to the Hallmark store and walked around Hallmark until he found the perfect encouraging card to encourage me for getting baptized. Hey Alonzo, what's up, brother? And Frugal Mom, hey sister. Those were the things that got me. It wasn't all about all of that other stuff. Yeah, because that
Lana, what's up? She, what's up?
what's up, my brother?
What's going on?
Doing all right. I came here and I was like, holy smokes, what's going on? How was Lana on with Sheed? Okay. Y'all done met on the
because
airwaves behind my back.
because
Oh,
he's a part
you,
of my community. He's a part of
yeah,
okay, so he's a part of our community in
Oh, he's
Florida.
homesteading.
He's
yeah.
homesteading.
I look at the Soil family. I was over there at the Soil family in Savannah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep. And then
Yes.
that's my biggest thing. Like I'm growing tomatoes and cucumbers now. My
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
cucumbers are starting to grow in. My tomatoes, I'm starting to see the little green tomatoes growing now. So
Are
I'm
you
about to
gonna
build
do
a
the
greenhouse.
Are you gonna do
Gold P was
the
good.
watermelon war?
You say I'm gonna do what now?
Growth did the watermelon war, so we have the watermelon war, watermelon wars. right now. It just started like Sunday. So you need to go get you some watermelon seeds. What it is to try to grow the biggest, juiciest watermelon you can grow. So those are the
I
first seeds. You
I
got
got some.
that time. Well, put
Yeah, I
them
got some.
in.
I heard about it because who was it? She was on today. I can't think of her name. I'll
Oh,
probably
you're
look up.
talking about Lydia
Um,
Whoop,
I
Best
don't
Jet
know if it's
Journey.
Oh my
Lydia. It's,
God.
Because Best Jet Journey, she did a video with her
This is such a
watermelon.
small world.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm about to let y'all go. I'm actually gonna get off because I'm back to driving and I'm about to go inside Dollar General. So, but yeah, we just gotta look at dating and being in relationships differently. Is it a short term or a long term situation that you're trying to get in? And then if you want to be in something short term, be honest about it. Don't sit here
Mm.
knowing that this woman or this guy is looking to be a family when all you want to do is be a part time, temporary thing. You know, the whole reason, seasons, lifetime. Why are you
Big
here?
facts.
Why are you here? Because guess what? If I know that you only want to be here for a small portion of my life, I might just want you to be my friend so that
yeah,
who I'm looking for can come in. Because now you're wasting my time and I don't get time back. So if you know that you don't want to be in my life on a permanent schedule, just be my homie.
yeah.
Don't disrespect me enough to steal time away from me, having me think that you want the same things I want when you know all along you don't want that. For example, when guys, I see women and men break up because he knows that she wants children or she knows that he wants children, but they don't want children and they're not man or woman enough to be like, look, I don't want kids. And so then they get into these relationships with people that want kids, and then years down the line, the hearts are invested. And so now you're telling me you don't want kids. Well, I told you I didn't really want kids, and I wasn't sure. But you knew that I wanted kids. Like, why did you? I could have with somebody that wanted kids and had like five of them, but I've been here with your dumb butt, you know? So we
Yeah.
just gotta be
Preach.
honest and we gotta be fair and stop being parasites to people.
Her,
Stop
her,
sucking
cha-
the
So
very
true.
life out of people.
her
But
channel
I
was
gotta go.
Angela Garden Delight.
Oh
Mm.
yes, 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 yes.
And one more thing to add to that
Yes, my
is
brother.
Okay.
y'all make sure that y'all go visit Callie Pooh Bear's page, and
Oh,
she's actually so she, I don't know if she mentioned, but she actually is one of the agents that works with me. She's on
I
my
know.
team.
he
Yeah, I
knows.
Mm.
know that.
Oh,
I've
okay.
been I've been knowing that from the first time I went on your channel and she came up and y'all always have a collab. I actually subbed to her through you.
Yeah,
Okay, cool,
That's
cool,
yeah.
cool.
And he told me he said I saw you on Alonzo Halls, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, we're a family. We're a tight knit family over here.
Absolutely. And we're gonna be doing on my channel the what is it called? Financial Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be
Oh,
going through that and not just with life insurance or not just with
mm-mm.
insurance, but with other people in their businesses and stuff like that. We're gonna be really doing a big collaboration. It was supposed to
Yeah.
start some months ago, but I wasn't ready. But I think I'm getting ready now. I just got to get ordained first because that's my focus right now, getting all of that
Amen.
straight. And then after that, then we're gonna start the Friday meetup. But I will talk to y'all soon. Alonzo, I sent the illustrations over, so there
Okay.
I'm just waiting.
Okay. And you gave her that okay to take the money?
Yeah, I told her that in the email.
Okay.
All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks for
all
having me
right now.
on.
No problem. No problem.
Bye.
No
Bye,
doubt.
everybody.
All right, bye.
Later. But yeah, just I literally just came in. I see, in the whole relationship thing, man. Realistically, at least she's talking from the female perspective. But when it comes to these dudes, bro, we gotta, you know, matter of fact, Marty, he was on the
Yeah,
stream the other day, and here's my major, major, major issue that I'm starting to have with dudes, right? Because Marty is not a, yeah, he prefers to travel, right? Fine. I'm not pole police, but he's not one of these guys who's solely going overseas for the women. Now, does he benefit from the women? Yes, but here's the difference. He balls out here in America too, right? He lives in the most expensive city in the country, Manhattan, New York, right? And if you actually check out his channel, he does brunches and stuff in New York, right? But what a lot of guys are failing to realize is this: he's able to live that lifestyle because he has this thing called money, right? And until we have money, we don't have a bargaining chip against the women that we want to get in order, or even the women we don't want to get in order. Because unfortunately, if we don't have money, we then can't be like, well, this chick is nobody, get out of my face. Why? Because she's able to be all up in our business because we ain't got the money to get away from her. And then the chicks like Ebony K, right? She has the right to want a boss. I get it. Now, that doesn't mean that she's going to get one, but she's an attorney, right? So even if she's a crappy attorney and doesn't even practice law, because she's still recognized as an attorney, that means that she has to keep up with the laws of her state, and she has to keep up with the financial obligation to remain affiliated with the bar association of whatever state she's legally licensed as a lawyer in, right? So there's an upkeep and a constant continuity that a dude who's a regular working dude may or may not have. Right? Nothing wrong with being a regular working dude. I know some regular working dudes who make $200,000 a year and they work 9 to 5 jobs, right? One of them happens to be a trash man, right? And we diminish that job. But let me tell you something about Wall Street. Wall Street will tell you the joke. There's way more millionaires in overalls and construction boots. So ladies should listen to this. There's way more millionaires in overalls and construction boots than in fancy cars and fancy suits. It's the truth. Look at Sheed, right? She makes good money. She dresses in suits, but for work, he's not dressing in suits. Why? Because it would be stupid to wear a suit for the type of work he's doing. But this man ain't no slouch. He makes a good coin. I have a homeboy who, like I said, is a trash man. Yes, the working in the back of a trash truck all day, you get the smell on your uniform. But when he goes home and takes a shower and takes off that uniform, he's got this thing called a pension because he works for the city. And so that's a big retirement account. Usually he gets a crap load of overtime. Most municipal workers that I know make between $75,000 and $100,000 starting. And then you add overtime, they be at $150,000, $200,000 a year. Easy. Right? The jobs that nobody wants to do. But as men, we also, especially as black men, have to go into those realms. We can't just want to be rappers, basketball players, and graphic design artists, or cooks and barbers. We got to do some other stuff. But I actually got to go run and visit my mom's. I'm about to hit the road. I'm gonna watch from the clouds, and then when I get back, I'll hop back on.
okay.
But much appreciated. Um, you know, you know my motto: wipe ass, work in progress every day, and see success. And when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. I'm gonna watch from the clouds. Salute.
All right. And Lonzo came up good, man, because That's what I was talking about earlier. With us wanting to be protectors and providers, you know, we need to have something in play for our family. That's why I say what more or less a lot of guys don't want to set their family up for generational wealth. And I get tired of hearing people saying that they got a job or they're creating companies for generational wealth. Generational wealth is those assets that, is being passed on. Yeah, I can pass a company on to a kid, but if it's not a self sustaining $1 million business, I'm not passing generational wealth. I'm passing a debt. You know, if I'm not if I don't have property that's either paid off, almost paid off, or to a degree that's making money on autopilot, I'm having renters in there. Like I'm passing on debt. The craziest thing I heard this lady, she said, this new generation of kids is something different. The job she works at, she's I think a supervisor. The employees they come in 2 weeks just enough to get a paycheck, then quit. $19 an hour. Job has to be 21. They won't hire anybody that's 18. You have to be 21 and older to get the job. She said she was talking to a 36-year-old guy, no ambition. She was like, so, what do you do with your money? You make good money here and you got you a nice car. He's like, yeah, yeah, that's it. It's like, that's it. Yeah. My mom, my dad, I stay with them and they about to die. I'll get the house when they die. So why do I need anything else? Well, what about your relationships? Ah, man, I'm not interested in getting me no girlfriend and then I'm cool. I just stay to myself. Like no one's working with this guy. His dad probably just, done gave up on him. And that's what some guys, man, when you get to a certain age, I know this one guy told his son, he was like, you just decided you're gonna be a fat slob for the rest of your life. And there's nothing I can do or anybody can do to change it. And that puts the mind frame of like, what do you really want out your life? You know, if you want to be married, like I said earlier, there's women that want to be married. They know what they got to do to be married. They just don't want to do it. I hear some women be like, "Man, I want to be married. I want to have a husband and this and that." And they say, "Well, why you don't have a husband?" Well, and I cannot stand this when I hear men. They said it kills me the most. But when the women say a strong woman, I said a strong woman weighs lifts about 900 pounds. That's a strong woman. She lifts about 900 pounds. A strong woman is not you having a a thought or a statement or something that you stand by or and the strong woman is not the woman with the attitude. That's not a strong woman. You just got an attitude problem. You know, you're not a strong woman because you state your opinion. That's everybody has an opinion about something they believe. I tell about this all the time when I say me and my wife, we both make decisions in the household because it has to be what's best for the family. I'm not gonna say I'm a dictator in my house, and if something ever happens to me, what is my wife gonna do? She don't know how to make decisions because I've always made the decisions about everything. I've always told her this, and she had to listen to me. When it comes down to it, I need my wife to be on the program just like I'm on. If I fall, I drop the ball. She got to pick the ball up and run with it. You know, it comes a time when you're in situations. I've lost my job. Well, not really lost my job. I quit a job. I didn't work for like 6 months. Like quit my job, didn't work for 6 months, had money in the savings, and the thing of it was it's just like, man, I get a job. I don't want to work for this. I don't want to work for that. End up going back into moving for a little bit till I found a driving job. But my whole thing was when it came down to it, like pride. A lot of people pride messed them up. A lot of dudes that's on this internet talking this talk, trying to walk this walk, I'm gonna say this: your money doesn't give you the right to act like this or talk like this. Because for one, you don't have enough money to shame people like that online. Because honestly, it's funny when I hear about a lot of guys talking about how they got this type of money. I I laugh because I had a friend. I have a friend I talked to, and me and him was talking about some things, and I was just telling him, about this space and stuff. He said, "Man, I don't have time to be over there listening and stuff like that. I'll listen to that guy Alonzo you was talking about when he talk about life insurance. I go over there and listen and talk with that. Other than that, man, I'm not dealing with this other stuff because it don't apply to me. This stuff not this and that for me. So why am I gonna deal with it like that? It doesn't apply. Like it's crazy how the people with money they don't have time to be sitting up here going through these back and forth discussions. You know, do better, come to the table. Like why? A lot of times I tell guys the only reason I'm in a lot of these spaces talking with these men because every time you say that women are this and women are that and I'm this way, I'm proving like you really probably don't really know what you're talking about. You pick bad or you dealt with a person that gave you a bad outcome. So everybody else supposed to be, bad off because you're bad off. That's not the case. People make mistakes, people do this. Hey, everybody's not gonna win in life good like that. Some people lose, some people win. That's the case of the game. As men, honestly, understanding, knowing that nobody's gonna care about your struggles. There are women that care, there are women that try to help you, but for those that don't, you got to do it on your own. We can say, in the argument, I was looking at Sexy Red TV, and she had me rolling when she was saying a lot of guys tend to want to be like the females. Like I heard the dude Myron was talking about women get free drinks at the club. Why can I get free drinks? I used to get free drinks at the club. Honestly, tell you the truth, I used to get free drinks at the club for two ways. Sometimes there were women that would give me a free drink to try to talk to me, but then there was this one girl I used to know. She was my friend. She was fine. It didn't work out between us, so I was like, cool. We were cool with each other. We're gonna hang out sometime. She would literally get the drinks, order them, and just pass them over to me. Whatever drink I want, I'd be like, I want Patron on the rocks. I'll get some water, have my glass there, and she do the switcheroo, give me the glass, and she's talking to the guy. It was just crazy, and it was funny like that because I'm like, a lot of these dudes were trying to just push up on her because of her looks. And even when this shit be talking to me, they be like, "What's up, Shawty? Oh, this your man?" I be like, "Nah, this is my friend." Oh, they going for the kill. They going for the kill. Then, oh, that ain't your man? Okay, cool. Going for the kill. And I just like women get drinks because men want to approach women and deal with them that way. Why men up here trying to say, "Well, I don't get free drinks"? Women, you the dude that don't get free drinks. And there was times that I didn't get free drinks. I'm not no suave Casanova type of guy, but the whole point is, like, some people get stuff, some people don't. What are you gonna do about it? You're gonna get mad and condemn all women because what? This one woman didn't get you a drink, or you want to talk to this woman and she didn't want to talk to you, so you condemning all women? I mean, my thing is, like I said, I don't have a dog in the fight with this. A lot of times I just hear a lot of stuff and I try to be quiet about it because, for one, I know most of the times a lot of these guys on these panels are trying to push a narrative. They're trying to talk about something to get more people involved, and I get that. But then it comes to a point where some of the stuff that you spewing, it's poison for the next generation of kids. Like I said, with the passport thing, I seen guys do passport right. Passport heavy, that's one of the best channels. If guys want to deal with passport, what is it, Passport Bros? Passport Heavy was one of the best channels I watched, where this guy did everything for what? The enjoyment of travel. He showed the locations. He showed the food. He showed the local shopping. Like he would go get. He went to Africa. He got studded out with the African clothing. He had a lot of custom outfits made for him. He went to, I think, Brazil, was over there, fly out with the clothes, the linen suits, the little linen short set. And he was over there in the malls or over there on the beaches, over there like helicopters or whatever. That was the thing. I put myself on mute. It's crazy how we have these conversations, and you got to kind of shelter the truth, because sometimes people can't accept the truth. Some people can't accept, man, go lift some weights. That's why I did the challenge with underrated. I told him, I said, dude, I'm big. I'm 275, 6 feet tall, 5'11", six give or take. But I'm literally that tall, and I'm 275. A lot of people don't even. You can go ask Kane the God. You can ask Gold Professor in the chat right now. I do not look 275. I know a dude now look way bigger than me. He only 263. I'm like, oh, what, for real? He like, yeah, man. And it just crazy. Like, I'm starting now to take this stuff serious. This morning, man, I done killed half a watermelon. I still got watermelon left over because I ended up getting a burger today. And then once I went to one of my other stops, they just gave me a whole plate of food. It was at the UGA cafeteria. They just gave me a whole plate of food. The kitchen was closed. They was like, man, we finna give this stuff out to the staff. Go make you a whole plate. I got a light plate. Got 5 wings. Got I think it was some pasta. Like the students in there that cook, and then they have the people that work there as well. But I think it was like some light. I think it was like some Mexican pasta without meat, and it was like corn beans and shells with tomato sauce, some lint bean. I forgot what they call it, lint something, but it's light food I got. But I gotta go work. I mean, I gotta go walk, and I still gotta go work. Shout out to Dr. Dunbar. We always talk about your 9 to 5, and then your 5 to 9. I still gotta go do some work on this house I've been working on. So I gotta go do that today. I gotta go. I'm picking up my son now. Go to my friend's house, help him deal with his phone. He's an older cat, and then once I deal with him, I gotta go drop my son off at the house. I might just bring him with me, and he go over there, do some work, show him what I'm doing, show him this, and make him clean up and do stuff because he got in trouble anyway. But the whole point, like, I'm gonna be showing my son, both of them, just like I showed their older brother. Ain't nothing wrong with a good hard day of work. Like Alonzo, he could have said, like, I do make decent money, you know. And actually, like I said, I literally took a pay cut out the gate out of high school. I was making 32,000 out of high school. 32,000 straight out of high school. So I make pretty much way more. Like I'm almost getting back up to where I used to make when I was moving furniture. Like moving furniture, that was the most money I ever made. Besides me running my own business. Besides me running my own business, I got pretty high with that one. You know, getting those clients, getting those contracts, hard work, but it takes even harder work to keep those. All it takes is one bad false move, you lose it all. You know, and that, I mean, that's just real. Trying to make sure got everybody with their wrenches. Okay, Kev ain't got his wrench, and truth as I know it, got my Black Money team, Tamika. All right, so everybody got their wrenches. Make sure I get everybody with their wrenches and stuff. But like I said, it's literally so hard when you start saying that all the stuff that's going against men. Men been dealing with this stuff for years. I mean, can it come easy? Yes. Will it come easy? Maybe. But to a degree, oh no problem. But to a degree, when it comes down to it, you gotta fit your own life according to you. Like I said earlier, my 10 is my 10. Your 10 is your 10. I like I like my wife. I love my wife. I like the way she move. I like the way she grew. I like the way she do things. Getting into a relationship with somebody else, I gotta work with them the way they move and do things as well. But the whole point of reference is this, you know, we go through these struggles, arguing, fighting with people, dealing with people a certain way. Like, where are we getting this stuff from? Like I said earlier, it's learned behavior. We have these issues from learned behavior. Let me see, can you hear me now? Let's see, I gotta I hope my audio set back up good. Bluetooth. All right, so we good. All right, so basically, like I said, it's learned behavior. Like I said, when me and my wife arguing and stuff, that was learned behavior. She seen how either her mom or aunties or somebody did that, and so she like, okay, well, I can argue with Rashid like that. He do something wrong, I'm gonna jump down and throw it on. Hey, it's learned behavior. Once I told her we're adults, you don't have to talk to me like that. If I do something wrong, just talk to me. Once she just came out and just talked to me, everything was all good. Like I said, we'll sit here, have conversations in front of the kids, and that'll just be it. Don't put your shoes on this. Don't do that. Hold this and do that. Just regular conversation. So many people teach us wrong habits. We got to break these habits. You know how many people been single for so long because someone told you something that wasn't true, or sit there and broke up your relationship because they were single and they didn't want you to have nobody. You have family members and friends that'll do that to you. I remember it was crazy. My friend, his uh his what was the I think that was his nephew. His nephew told, well, no, his uncle was it uncle? I think it's uncle, yeah. That was his nephew. But he literally told him to break up with this girl due to the fact that she not it. Like, man, she not it. She don't look all that, bro. You gotta let her go. So dude, he broke up with her, and He regretted it because he liked the girl. He's like, man, the girl was so cool. Man, we bonded with each other. Man, we related with each other. Yeah, she wasn't all that, but she was good to me. She was good to me. I liked her because she was good to me. You know what that dude ended up telling him one day when they got it, to a situation. He's like, man, I played you. I made you break up with a girl you love. Ha ha ha. He was crushed. His uncle did that to him. But the thing of it was his decision. He ultimately had that decision to stay with the girl or break up with her. He did that on the premise of what? Because someone else told him to do that. I know women like that. Me and my wife, we were having a conversation, and I told her about that. I said, if this person is single and they've been single for a minute, they're gonna come at you with all these men ain't this, men ain't that. Most men will be nice to you this way and be nice to you that way, and then they only playing with you just to do this or just to have sex or just to be this way. And me and my wife we was talking, and I told her, I say, this is the crazy part. You gotta validate the choices that you make because I can help you in a relationship to have a long, prosperous life if I'm single because I can tell you the do's and the don'ts that I went through. So I can help you avoid this pitfall and avoid how to always jump the gun instead of compromising working with that person. Or I can put you in the mindset of dealing with somebody to the strength of you need to lead them. They ain't no good for me. I've been through that in my relationship, and look at me. I end up getting beat, end up getting torn. The woman did me wrong. She did this and that. I can literally tell you all that, and at the end of the day, you'll be so scared to get into a relationship, and the person you with, you'll break up with them, just on the premise of all the horrible things I told you. But in actuality, I need somebody to kick it with. So I'd rather for you to be single and don't have nobody, then we can go hang with each other. We cool. And a lot of times you do have this online with this trauma bonding. I might not have been through the same situation that you've been through, but simply because it's relatable because we both had some type of issues in our life, we can relate on the same playing field. Like, oh man, your girl dumped you too. Yep. All right, let's start there. We cool because both of us single. Both of our girls dumped her because we were good men. We did everything right in the relationship. We was always there for him, man. We was giving him money, but why did she leave then? Sometimes it is true that there are a lot of good men that women just all of a sudden just leave. And then you have these dudes that are good men, but they're controlling. They want to rule everything. Like you can't go nowhere. You can't sit right here. You got to sit beside me. You got to hold my hand. You got to look like we together. And that's how that relationship goes to the point where, you know, you in a bad situation. You know, you literally don't got no say so in the matter. So, it comes to situations where, you basically get put in a situation due to the fact that, hey, it is what it is. I don't want you to be happy because I ain't happy. I don't want you to feel good about yourself. I don't want you to do nothing about yourself because I ain't doing that for myself. What's the old saying? Misery loves company. I'm in this situation because I'm in this situation. So why not go ahead, put you in the same boat as me? We can be best friends. We can hang out, two miserable people working for a greater cause. And that be the craziest thing. Like I'm in a situation where I'm gonna put myself on the line that because I'm in a happy relationship, things might be kind of a little rocky. We're not, connecting on this and that. But just because somebody else say that, man, I went through that same scenario, man, you might want to get out when you can. I'm gonna leave my happy home that's oh so rocky, this and that, just to go be single and restart all over again. Then I'm complaining about how bad these women are out here, bruh. I don't get it. Like, if it's that bad, why y'all in a relationship already? Like that's the thing that kills me. If the relationship is that bad, why y'all in a relationship like right now? Like what you got to that point to where all of a sudden now divorce is on the table. My that's like one of my whole biggest things. The only way I won't stay with my wife is she cheat on me. Other than that, any other thing we can work it out. You know, because you could say, well, what if she had a? That's the form of cheating. I don't take no prisoners when it comes to something like that because we're in a relationship and people say, man, what if she cheat? She no. The biggest thing is if you really want to know, like the disease, you cheating could bring diseases. I'm not trying to deal with somebody that's a cheater and you give me something. I laugh and joke about herpes being the gift that keeps on giving. When you in these type of relationships like that, dealing with people that cheat, you honestly know how bad that is. Like the whole relationship part about y'all getting into a relationship and this person cheating on you. Like man, oh man, she cheated. Oh man, he cheated. Yeah, but what else are they doing? They could give you something that you can't get rid of. I mean, that's the thing with a lot of people. I knew a situation when I was in high school. What really kind of solidified this was this girl messing with this dude. And the crazy part is all the all the girls were messing with different guys. And the girls, they would tell the dudes put on a condom. The one girl, she didn't tell the dude to put on a condom. They ultimately had sex and the girl contracted AIDS. The other girls who was messing around, they didn't contract AIDS. When they found out the dude had it, everybody went and got a test. She was the only one that had AIDS. You know, it was crazy. Like she went through that situation, and it's on both sides. I heard stories too where dudes were the same. All right, go P. I know you said something funny. I ain't can't read it right now. I'm about to get ready to stop in a minute. I'll see it. But when it comes down to it, it was crazy because there are women that do the same. That's why I keep telling people on both sides. You cannot sit here and tell me that all these men are out here doing bad and there's no woman that's doing anything wrong. And vice versa. You cannot tell me that all these, people are doing everything to the right, to the best of their ability every single time, men and women. We all have our faults. We're taught by other people. That's how we come up with these decisions and these ways of thinking and stuff like that, due to the fact of us, not being able to grow right. We learning and dealing off of other people and they stuff, and that be the biggest issue. If I was always taught to, you know, be a Mac and a player, then that's what gonna facilitate me being a Mac and a player. Yeah. So when it comes down to it, it's crazy. So you have a situation where like the herpes, yeah. The whole pump and dump thing. Like I said, even if let's say you don't have a kid, the STDs is real. I'm talking about literally STDs are an issue. All this stuff fall through. Let's say you don't get no STDs, but you end up having a kid with a woman you don't even like. Like that's my whole thing. Like we sitting here having a conversation, going back and forth with people. Like it's just crazy. And it always be the craziest thing at the end of the day. We'll sit here, argue about how good or how bad something is or somebody is when it comes to men and women. Like, oh man, these women, they crazy as a mug. Man, you choose to be with these women. Like that's where even what women say, man, these guys are no good. Where the good men at? You have a choice in the matter to actually deal with a good man. You know, I was looking at Pink Book Lessons, and they had an issue where these guys were, killing these women in I think New Orleans. And when it came down to it, by just listening to the newscast, my whole thing was this. I'm like, man, it's a lot of crazy dudes out here killing women. Like, dang, the way they spinning this narrative, it's like it's so crazy. But then when she popped up and was like, man, out of all these situations, there were women that dealt with crazy men and had got a crazy outcome. And I was like, man, that's true. Like the news spent it to where that men were going crazy just killing women, but then you had a certain type of man was going crazy and killing these women. They were dealing with them. But man, I gotta go. Like I said, I gotta do some work. So with that being said, it might be another one later. No, it ain't, because I gotta go to bed early. You know, we on this team uh here for the grind. So I gotta put in some work. I gotta get my sleep tonight. Do a little work, then go home and go to sleep. Once again, we here. Shout out to the people that's coming through. And I see Gold P what he said is crazy. But like I say, we here, we gone. Gone.